Hi everyone and welcome to What is Your Gift? And today we have Anna Maria. She is in Geneva in Switzerland while I'm here in New Zealand. So she's in winter on the morning and I am in summer and it's the evening. I just love Zoom for that. It's pretty amazing. So thank you, Anna
True.
Maria, for being here and sharing a bit of your story with us. How are you doing this Monday morning for you?
Well, it's always difficult Monday morning, but it was exciting knowing that I had to connect and meeting you also for the first time, and knowing, like you said, that for you is evening. For me, it's exactly 12 hours before, and so it's a fresh start, and
Yes,
I'm very well and excited to be here. Thank you.
thank you. That's awesome. So tell me, Anna Maria, we've been connecting through Simpson Protocol on the group, amazing community group. And you were like really willing to share your story. So maybe if you want to bring us back a little bit on how you discovered your passion about hypnosis and Simpson Protocol, maybe.
Absolutely. Well, I started hypnosis and the first training with the NGH in 2017.
What is
And
NGH?
actually,
Can you?
the NGO is the National Guild of Hypnotists, which is
Okay.
a very large and the most important association for hypnotists in the US. And they have a full program. And well, it was really by chance, actually. And I remember distinctly that 1 year before I started, I was talking to someone and saying, very convinced I will never do hypnosis. I had many ideas, like many people, fears about hypnosis, stage hypnosis, what it is, and fear of being controlled. And then a couple of weeks before the training started, I was on a mailing list and I received a mail telling me that there was this class starting. And there was a little voice in me saying, why not? And usually I listened to that. And so I said, okay, I was always against hypnosis, but maybe there is something I need to do or learn. And I enrolled. And in the beginning, I was absolutely closed. I wouldn't go into hypnosis. I think I needed to show everybody that I was in control and nobody was going to control me. And very soon, seeing everybody else going to hypnosis and having amazing experiences, I started feeling very frustrated. And I said myself, okay, now I must do something and change my way of seeing things and doing. And everything started with that. And I really very quickly, I was hooked and I found it very interesting. We had beautiful, amazing experiences. And 3 years later, no, actually a little bit before that, I read about SP. And again, I had something in me telling me, this is interesting. I would like to learn it sometime. And I put it in a tiny part of my mind. And I thought, okay, one day I will just take the plane, go to Canada and do the training within a Simpson, or maybe in Europe, because she used to come and train in Europe also.
Ah, was she? Right.
Yes, she went to Germany, Belgium, and I don't know how many times, but I know she came several times. And then COVID started,
Yeah.
and the training started online, and I took the first occasion I had enrolled, and I was lucky to well, I didn't have to pay for the airplane or airport, and
Right.
for, I mean, a hotel, and it was wonderful. It was really wonderful, and that's how it started.
Wow. And so now, since you took the course, like how do you balance your life? Because before the recording, before we start, you were telling me that you sort of found your balance between hypnosis and also another passion that you have. Maybe if you want to talk about that.
Yes, I teach sport classes for people 50, 60 years old, and it's really to help maintain their independence, and I love that. And for almost, well, 18 years, 15, 18 years, I also trained sport teachers, and sharing this with other people was really, and it still is, a very special thing for me. It's good for me because it keeps me healthy, also physically healthy, and it's a moment where I love sharing with other people, laughs and movement and music, and it's really beautiful. But when I started with hypnosis, and because also I am now a SP trainer, I shifted. I keep the classes, the sport classes with the groups, but I decided to stop the training part in the sport to go towards the training with hypnosis and especially SP.
Wow, wow, fantastic. Well, actually, if you can tell us a little bit more about SP, because in all of my interview, I haven't spoke much about Simpson Protocol, which I
Mhm.
also use. And because you are also teaching this modality, that would be very good for people to maybe understand a bit more what is SP.
Well, it's a wonderful process. It's a standalone process. Usually, I teach in Italian or French, especially, but I will try to find my words also in English. It's a process that comes from modern hypnosis. So there are many influences that come from Erickson, from Dave Ellman, of course, Esdale, James Esdale, and many other different techniques that Ines Simpson, which is the creator of Simpson Protocol, put together to make really a very complete, global, and holistic process that works at all levels: physical, mental, spiritual. And the idea about the Simpson Protocol is that we have in us a part who really knows what needs to be done to help us, is there to find the best ways to find solutions for to become what we need to become, or what we wish to change in our lives for our well-being. So the person goes into hypnosis, the depth, which is good for him or for her. And at a certain point, we make this connection with the superconscious. We call this part deep within us, superconscious mind. And we start asking questions. And very often we don't know what's going to happen or what's happening. Very often the person, the client doesn't know. Maybe sometimes they have some feelings or information that come, and that can also help us guide them through their process. But this part really does the work for the person, and it because it's something unconscious, it's something really deep. It's really done with all the resources the person has, and and it's always for the best. And it's amazing because even people who had very difficult experience, even traumas, they don't have to relieve what happened. They don't even have to tell what happened if they don't want to share. And this part, the superconscious mind, really does the changes and makes the changes that are most appropriate and optimal for the person. And things change. Sometimes the client knows what happened, what's happening. Sometimes it doesn't, but because it's best this way.
Yeah,
But the changes are
powerful.
uh, yeah, are wonderful, amazing, And it's very easy also for the therapist. Sometimes I don't have the words because I'm not used to talking in English. So
you can say it in French. I can translate.
You will forgive me if I don't have the word, and you can help me if you feel like I need. And
Your English is amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean, amazing.
And thank you. But anyway, it makes it very easy for the therapists also, because we don't need to have scripts. We don't need to prepare anything, because we ask this question to the subconscious mind, and if the client has information, wants to share it with us, it just gives us the flow and the direction of what we need to do. And it's very powerful and very, very effective.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. I think it's really what I loved when I took this course is, as you say, when there is a big history of trauma, and absolutely the person doesn't have to relieve that. And that is so powerful in itself, because I think a lot of people who have had a very difficult childhood or upbringing, it's really hard for them to trust a therapist or someone because they don't want to speak about it. And that's the thing, as you say, the person can come for something, and then and superconscious mind is so gentle. And as you say, the person doesn't need to remember, and things are flowing and changing. It's quite amazing. Maybe without talk about someone in specific, but do you have maybe a story that you would love to share of something that really like blown your mind in one of the sessions?
Well, there are many little things that happened. Most of the time, I sort of go with the flow and don't really remember the whole thing. It's very difficult because you start just this exchange for the person and you follow what comes up. But well, I think the parts that really touch me the most, it's when people start working themselves with the self-hypnosis and how they can become very creative about it. It's well, in my whole life, I try to help people become independent. With the sports, with my family, my girls, my daughters, to help them really become independent with their own resources and gifts. Let's put it like that. And with hypnosis, it's the same thing. It's I try to encourage people to understand how it is and to just integrate it as a tool for themselves to help themselves. And with this, it's for me always amazing to see how there are very important things with health issues, how people can help themselves with cancer patients, how they can integrate and start doing self-hypnosis for pain management, chemotherapy, side effects, and sleep and anxiety, or even very current and everyday things. And the thing that made me, I think, laugh the most was one teacher who came to a self-hypnosis class. And a couple of days after the class, he had a student who threw up in class, and he was really disgusted by this, and he remembered that he could do self-hypnosis and ask superconscious to make him numb to the smell. He did it, it worked, and he told me that he cleaned everything without feeling anything and feeling just perfectly comfortable with the task. So it was amazing. And I mean, it's a very simple thing, but just to say that sometimes you do extraordinary things, and sometimes you can just use it as a very simple everyday tool for yourself. And you never know at what time and when one person never used, actually it's one person very close to me, family, never used self-hypnosis. He knew how to do it, but he just didn't want to, and he wanted to work with me all the time. And I said, but you know, you know how to do, you can do it. But he didn't want to. And one day he went for a blood test. You know, they have to take your blood. I don't know exactly how to say it in English. And the doctor couldn't find the vein. And so it was very painful for him. And he thought, okay, now it's been 2 years. I could have been doing self-hypnosis. Now it's the time to start. He did it. It worked. And since then, well, he's a believer, and he does it
Still
all
got
the
it all.
time when he has, yeah, well, sometimes, you know, sometimes you can practice right away. Sometimes it just takes weeks, months, maybe years, but when the right time comes and the click is there, well, it comes. And so I really love watching this. One
Yeah,
other
it,
time,
yeah.
sorry. Well, you
Yeah.
know, when I start talking, it's difficult to stop because there are so many things.
Yeah,
You give me the opportunity to share.
absolutely. That's what we are here for, to hear all those beautiful stories. Yeah. But maybe now, if you can tell us a little bit, I don't know what you were doing before starting this journey, um, but did you have your a business on your own before doing that, or you were employed before?
Before, no, I was a mom.
You were.
I have 2 daughters, and my husband is a surgeon, children plastic surgeon, and so we had to travel also a lot, and we spent a few years also in Canada. That's why I in Toronto, so that's why I speak English so well. And so I took care of my family, my daughters, and when we came back to Geneva, they started to go to school, and I wanted to do something else. And I I was always very open, and I always listened to my intuition, and I knew I wanted to do something, but I wasn't sure what. And one day I was with a friend who was looking for a job, and she had the newspaper with all the ads, and she told me, Annamaria, do you want to look and see? I said, why not? Give me the paper. And then I saw the ad about the sport, and they were looking for people wanting to become teachers for elderly, and you know, just it clicked, and I thought, okay, this is something I really would like to do. So I started, and it was just the right thing. And from there I became a trainer after 3 years, and then I at a certain point in the family, like very often things were difficult. My daughters were teenagers, and I found myself turning really in round and round, trying to help everybody to do the best. And I was feeling worse and worse, and things would just not move on until I decided, okay, now it's time to do something for myself. And once I did that, it's amazing, because changing the parameter about myself and finding my way to harmonize things and to feel well for myself, everything else around started to piece together to get together. It's like a huge moving puzzle where you change one piece and all the others need to adapt to make it whole. And things just started to click, and I really felt I was moving in the right direction without knowing really where I was going, but feeling that every step was the right step. And up until now, I really feel this, and I feel that I'm moving in the right direction, doing the right thing, and I'm living really now every moment like it's just right. And I don't know
And
where
it's
I'm going, but I know it's right.
that is so powerful statement, because that is the key when you decide to say, well, things were not aligned exactly in my life, and then suddenly I started to prioritize myself, and then from this moment, everything, as you say, like the puzzle is coming back as one. This is such a powerful statement, because often, especially as women, I reckon, when you have a family, what we tend to give always to others, because it's our family, we love them, we care for them, but it's so powerful. Maybe if you want to talk maybe a little bit more, what were you feeling at the time, and how did you feel after when you made this decision to take care of yourself first?
Yeah, it's I think it came slowly, but sometimes there are comments maybe or words that you read or that you hear for someone, and it just clicks. And I remember distinctly one moment, one comment someone said to me, um, telling me that seeing just a picture of myself, it was a very good friend who came to our house, invited, and saw a picture of myself, young bride. And he said, "Wow, that's so beautiful. You could have done anything you wanted." And at that time, I thought it was a very nice compliment, and I just took it like that. And sometimes later, watching this picture, I thought, okay, he said that, but actually, no, it's not true, because I was very timid, very introverted is the word.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't have done everything. And then I thought, okay, with my husband, we had a time where things were difficult, like many people.
Mhm.
And I thought, but I needed this. I needed this because this was the thing that gave me the courage to go to move out of my comfort zone, because
Mhm.
at a certain point I was suffering because things weren't the way I wanted them to be, and so I felt I needed to do something for myself. And at that moment it was absolutely beautiful, because it was really uh, um, a powerful moment for me of realizing this. So I went to my husband, who was very close to me, reading the newspaper, and I told him, don't take it badly, but I have to thank you for all the difficult part of our life together, because if I didn't have this, I would probably never had the courage to go over my fears and to find my potential, and to find what I could have done. And he looked at me like he thought I was joking maybe, or saying something. And I said, no, I'm really serious, because this gave me the strength to go to move forward and find myself and find what I could do in life. And I said, now I learned my lesson. So you're free. You don't have to be like that anymore. You can work for yourself. And from that moment on, our relationship really changed. There was something, I don't know, it's like we had a contract, an unspoken contract somehow. I learned what I had to learn, so he was free to do the things he needed to do for himself. And now we are really, every day, it's like we are rediscovering ourselves, our relationship, and things are absolutely beautiful. And it was a very, very powerful moment.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Because, well, in different way, it reminds me of my own relationship, but me from a different background. But what is incredible is what I found when listening to your story, knowing my story, and also from my clients, that when we put ourselves first and we realize that, okay, like if I feel good within me, if I do what I really want, and as you say, like the person is the mirror, and they help us grow. And it's the same, my husband helped me growing so much.
Mm,
And when we are at this level, suddenly, because we changed, everyone around, including your relationship, is changing. I can see that in my life also. And I cannot emphasize enough how powerful and important it is to to empower ourselves to say like, this is, you know, like I've got a passion, I've got something that is driving from within, and I can give me this right, I can give me this permission to start this journey. So wow, thank you for this story. It's amazing. I'm loving it.
Yeah. And also realizing that sometimes when you leave something that makes you that is painful in a way, or which we don't like, but sometimes there is a reason. Sometimes you could just use that as a powerful push towards something positive. And this is how I felt everything, all this. And I'm very grateful for really for everything. And I keep telling everybody, because I mean, this is what we need to do, to share all this positive moments. And gratefulness, is it a word in English? I
Yeah,
don't know.
say so.
Yes, it is.
Otherwise we
Okay.
invent it. It's all
So
right.
sometimes, well, you understand what I mean.
No, I think
Okay.
it's a good English word. And yeah, so your husband, he was like a little bit like your mentor without really knowing. Like he was showing
Yeah,
you the, yeah.
I think each of us had a moment. It was like an exchange, but well, without realizing it. And it keeps being like that, and it's really beautiful.
Mm. So from what I hear, you are following your intuition and your guidance
Yes,
without really knowing now. Yeah. So
yes.
do
Well,
you have, yeah?
no, I was just saying that I do it, and the more you do it, the more you trust it. And this is also what I try to teach everybody around me and my family, especially. Listen to your intuition. Sometimes there are ideas, there are feelings that come, and that they pass very quickly.
Mm.
But if you take it with you, if you keep it and you develop it, usually it's really the right thing. And I read a few years ago, I don't know if it was Frédéric Lenoir, who was it, that maybe he was writing about Spinoza, the philosopher Spinoza, and it was something that really spoke to me. And it was intuition is what pushes you to
Mhm.
the future, to what you need to do. But then there is the conscious and the logic, who is the part who is based on everything you lived, all the experiences you had. So it stops you from moving forward, because there are all the fears, all the doubts coming from all your actual experiences. But intuition, it's what pushes you to move forward, but it's the unknown. So
That's right.
sometimes it's fearful, but if you listen to this message and you dare to just make the step and start moving forward without too much relying on the blockages that come from your past and your logic. I mean, I think it's a question of finding the right balance. But the intuition very often gives you the move towards what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah,
and
absolutely.
uh,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm lucky, because many things I could do it because I also had my husband, his job. And of course, if you rely on your own what is the
Finances,
word?
yeah.
Yes, on your own finances, you have to balance the things in a different way. But the intuition, it's still something very, very important. And I think we need to listen to these things.
That's really good. Like it's actually it's funny because you are going towards this the question that I was about to ask. when you have self-doubt, or when you have this mind, ego mind, I call that ego mind, that is going into the way of what if everything is scared, do you have any tips or anything that you would be able to give to people to actually listen more to their intuition?
I think it's something that comes, well, first thing, to be open. And I think when you hear something, or when you have the feeling that something interests you, and you just have maybe the tiny voice in you saying, this is interesting, that's already enough. And I think that's already something that is there, but it can be very, very, um, very silent. I don't know, I don't have the right word to
Very
say it. It can
subtle.
very subtle. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, that's exactly the word. It can be very subtle, but you have to listen to it. And when
yeah,
someone tells me, I saw that, I thought it was interesting, usually I tell them, well,
yeah,
go check and look better into it, but because maybe it's the right thing for you, and then you have to
yeah.
balance
Yeah,
what
or
is
sometimes we hear the same thing or from two different person. It's like, oh, okay, maybe
absolutely,
there is a there is a sign
absolutely.
there.
But I think there are many people who are very, very strongly um, based on their logic, on their past experiences, and so they are not open enough to this uh, small voices or messages coming from the outside. But I really, for myself, I saw, and the more you listen to it, the more you are confident, and the easier it is to follow this kind of feelings.
That's right.
So for everybody, it's different, but I really wish to anybody to be able to hear this messages and find the right path, because
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
yeah. And I believe when we start, as you were saying this word open, the first thing that you said, like being open, because it's exactly that. As soon as you open, actually, this is when you can start tuning into what people are saying. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. And then this is when you are driven to the right person or the right course, or, like the beginning of your journey with well, SP at least. So, yeah, I guess also when, I don't know for you, but when you dive into this world of the unconscious mind, the superconscious mind, it really opens up even bigger and wider this incredible intuition. I mean, it's infinite. And when we start opening to this world, it's just magical, isn't it?
Absolutely. I agree. I totally agree with you. It's absolutely that, and everything opens up. Your heart, your intuition. You start really exchanging with the rest of the world, and in a beautiful way. And you give and you take. It's really very complementary. I mean, and it's like being in a universal flow with everything around you. And about that, it's very interesting, because we're human, and we make errors, of course, and sometimes we feel emotions that we don't like shame, or we sadness. And now, because I trust superconscious minds so much, every time I have this feeling that lingers, and I said, okay, superconscious minds, I know that I feel like that because there is something I need to learn. There is something that I have to know and learn. Please help me understand what it is and make me move forward, so this feeling can go away and the message is received. And it works. And it works because, I mean, we have all this uh, bad, let's say, moment, or moments where we don't feel like we are aligned with ourselves, and there is something that we need to understand. And very often it's a message that we need to understand. So asking superconscious mind to help me do it it helps.
It's
It
quite
helps me
fast.
move forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, that's so
exactly
amazing.
right.
Wow. And I guess you must have some good return from your clients also, because you are empowering them through this process because they do self-hypnosis on themselves. So they must be also opening to their intuition and this world.
Yeah. And
Mm.
it's beautiful. This is the thing I really like most, and I'm always amazed because we are all different, and every person has a different way to practice it, and that's what I usually tell when I teach. I mean, I bring a process in a certain way because we need words, we need a
Structure.
certain structure exactly to teach what we want to give them, but then they have to take this and make it their own and integrate it with the kind of person they are, their culture, their beliefs, and their all the other different methods they learned, and every person uses it then differently, and it's beautiful, and it's amazing every time to see how it can be different from one person to the other, and I'm always surprised about that.
Yes. Yes, and this is why I love also so much this technique, because Ines is giving this freedom of, as you say,
Absolutely.
everyone will
Yeah.
make it their own. That's so
Uh,
powerful.
she, she is very humble. She's very human and very open to accept suggestions, idea, and that's what I really love also about the forum, because there are many people, many ways of using SP, and we share, and we can all move forward thanks to that, and it's really beautiful.
Mm, yeah, it's so important, especially now, to have this sense of community, to belong to somewhere where we feel that we fit in. Because I don't know, what are your thoughts about? I mean, technology, like anything, there is good and there is bad. Like there is this edge, and you decide which way you go. But yeah, the sense of belonging to a community and share and learn from each other is so important right now, because otherwise we are so separated.
No, it's a very individualistic society. More and more, we tend very often to want to show that we do best, and what we do and the way we do it's the best. And what I like about this community in SP, and I really hope it will continue like this, is this humility, and with the really we want to share and advance together, helping each other and accepting also differences, and it's something that I think we need this. It's something that really makes me very proud also
Out of.
to do this, and
Wow. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
lack the words to say exactly what I want to say, but you understand. And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really the sharing. It's really the
Yeah,
sharing,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
accepting that I mean, we do things in a certain way, but we can always improve. We
Mm.
can always improve thanks to other ways of doing things, thanks to other sensibilities. And every time we can advance, improve, and I don't think it never ends.
No, and it is what I often say to people um that love perfectionism, and it's like, we would be such a boring world if we everything was perfect. We don't have room for improvement. It's the beauty of being a human, is that we're always
True. Yeah, true. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm very happy to be here and to having been able to meet you, because it's beautiful to share this moment. Thank you very much
Yeah,
again.
yeah, you're so welcome. What would you tell anyone who feels the passion or something that is growing and but they are a bit worried or scared to step in? What would you tell this person to step into their own power?
Hmm. What would I tell them? Well, for me, it's really listen to your heart, and maybe, well, even sharing the fears with the people who you love, and to ask for help, because when you feel that there is something you need to do, it's okay to be scared. It's normal, because we have experiences that keeps us from leaving this comfort zone. And so having help from somebody else, encouraging us in what we are doing, taking small steps, it's probably the best thing.
More steps. Yes, I love that. Wow. Thank you so much. That's fantastic. So, Annamaria, like, do you have any courses or any events that are coming up that you would like to share with anyone, or any
Oh,
projects?
I have several self-hypnosis classes planned this year with Prosenectute, this association I told you about for people 55, 60 years old, and in my studio, and others also online in French, and one in Italian, because with Italian still our things are a bit difficult. In Italy, there is still a lot of fear. I'm sure things will improve, and
Really?
will,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
With French, things are better and better every year, and people are really opening up
Mm,
to hypnosis and different kind of approaches. In Italy, it's still difficult, and it's still the
okay.
domain for doctors and psychologists.
Okay.
But I'm sure things will move. It just usually takes a little more time.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And
Interesting.
then
Because
I have a training, Simpson Protocol training in French online in September
in
planned.
September. Excellent. Wow. And how can people connect with you? Do you have a website, a social media platform?
I have, well, I'm not really a social media person, I must say. My daughter is doing the work for me, but I have a website which she takes care for me, and there are all the classes and information about SP and what I'm doing, and it's La Scala hypnosis.ch for
Yeah,
Switzerland.
yeah. Excellent. Cool. I will put that in the bio anyway. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, and it was
Well,
really
thank you for inviting me. It was really nice sharing this moment with you. Thank you very much.
thank you. Have a beautiful day.
And you a very good night.
I will. Bye.
Bye.